I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll. Commissioner Kozer, Commissioner Burden, Commissioner Clement.
Here.
Commissioner Backel.
Here.
Commissioner O'Donnell. Here. Commissioner McGarry.
Here.
Chairman Mitchell.
Here. Next, if there's any member of the audience that wishes to speak on anything that concerns the Plan Commission that is not on today's agenda, this would be the time to do so. Okay, we'll move on. We have minutes from a previous meeting. We've all had those for some time, so I'd like a motion.
I'll move to accept the minutes from February 15th, 2018.
First by McGarry,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner O'Donnell. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we would like at this point to swear in anyone who wishes to speak during tonight's public hearings. Please stand.
And raise your right hand and say, I do after the following. I swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
I do. Do we have a listing of names and addresses, or how would that be provided?
There will be two people signing here, and anybody else would like to speak, be signing here so we can.
What are you saying to them?
Anybody else would like to sign in for speaking?
The first case we have tonight is a public hearing, HG 1727S, Tower Development. BJ, will you present the case?
Certainly. So this case went through the December 7th Plan Commission meeting, and it was denied based on its specific reasons. And one of the reasons was the applicant was requested to provide evidence that the alternate sites would not provide consistent and seamless coverage to fully justify the need for the tower on the subject property. So shortly after that, we also heard from the public safety entities. They weren't aware of this meeting. So some of them are here tonight to provide additional testimony. And this case, when it went to the village board, it was referred back to the Plan Commission just to make sure the Plan Commission recommendation is based on substantial and complete evidence. The village's Environment Committee met on February 6th and recommended that the cell tower be relocated to an area that is less damaging to the local environment. And if they chose any alternate location, they would like to review that location before village board approval. So the applicant has been advised to come back with all the answers that were brought up at the last Plan Commission, as well as the January 24th village board meeting, which included to to provide evidence that there has been exhaustive search for alternate sites, the radius covered by the proposed tower, how do we address the unsightly visual impairment, and what would be the ultimate build out on the subject property. So the applicant, in the process, we did provide them with a fire district property located off of Chicago-Bloomington Trail. And the applicant indicated it was reviewed in their initial search and was taken out because of potential environmental risk related to the creek nearby. So the applicant agreed to speak of the coverage for the proposed tower and the exact radius, and also provide information on the search for alternate sites. So they do have a PowerPoint presentation ready for tonight's presentation. And also in front of you, you should have a letter from Robert Cutt, resident of 13300 Chicago Bloomington, with his concerns, which will be part of the testimony tonight. And also from Commissioner Worden, citing State Statute 55 Illinois CS 5-12001. Before we go further, I'd like to ask our village attorney if he wants to share any comments on the specific state statute.
We're okay with this.
Okay. Do I understand that both of those letters are now part of the public record?
That's correct.
At this time, I know one of our commissioners, Commissioner Clement, would like to make a motion before we open the public hearing.
I would, thank you. I would like to make a motion that case number HG 1727S, the PI Tower Development LLC public hearing, that this issue be tabled until we have a full plan commission present. As at the last vote on December 7th of 2017, there was a unanimous decision that was made by the committee, and I feel it would be beneficial to both parties to have the consideration of the original members that were present at that meeting to be present again.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Clement. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner McConnell. Please call the roll.
Commissioner McGarry,
I'm voting against tabling it. I'm not sure, yes or no. I vote against tabling it.
There'll be no.
Okay, no.
Commissioner Burden, Commissioner Clement,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozer, Commissioner Backel,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Donnell. Yes.
Okay, the motion passes. Will be tabled. However, since we're not always assured of having a full table here, it would be appropriate to set a date for the next appearance. And regardless of the number of commissioners present, as long as there's a quorum, I feel that it is necessary then to go forward. Is that agreeable?
So the next meeting is on March 15th, so the residents need to know a date for the meeting, just so they can come back.
March 15th?
Yeah, March 15th is the next meeting.
Okay, I know for one I will not be here. How do we feel, Russ?
It's the day after John's surgery.
We're probably missing two already.
Could we table it until the meeting after that? Could we table this out 4 weeks?
Certainly. That's why I asked how many might be present.
So I could be
So
present.
we'll end down to the first Thursday of April.
That'll be the 5th.
April the 5th.
Yes.
Any of the commissioners present know their availability, or anyone that knows they won't make it? Okay, April the 5th it is. We'll table it till that date. Sorry for the inconvenience for all those present here tonight. advising the applicants for the second case that they...
I can advise them to come by 7:45. Fortunately, the architect is here for the second item.
They are?
No, actually, the architect here. Are you expecting anybody else, David?
The civil engineer is just walking in.
So we have to have a recess of 1 hour?
No.
Are we ready to proceed?
Yeah, I think they're good.
I think we're good.
Okay, if that's the case, then we have a second case on the agenda, HG 1206, Property Group, public hearing. Kyle, are we ready to present the case?
Yes, I just want to make sure the applicant is... Are you ready, David?
Yes. All right.
So this is a brand new shopping neighborhood shopping center, about 44,681 square feet. They plan to build in 3 different phases. And the concept plans have been reviewed by our Community and Economic Development Committee. And they got positive response from the committee, given the fact that Homer Glen has less than 5% vacancy for commercial properties. And we have very limited neighborhood centers. You know, the total square footage for neighborhood and community shopping centers is 74,514 at the end of 2017. So we have very limited space, very little vacancy, meaning there's definitely a market for these kind of centers in town. And so in front of you, you have a complete site plan review. I'll give a quick overview, and the architect, of course, will get into the details to the exterior materials and the site plan details. So starting with the setback variances, they're part of the PUD plan. And if you look at, the first table, setback variances, do you have the staff report with all the, I'm assuming you have the tables in the staff report. If you look at the table, on page 2, there's a table looks like this. So, as part of the PUD, they're requesting certain setback variances. And if you look at the third column, front parking setback variance, that is needed for the frontage on Bell and 143rd Street. Beyond that, all other variances for the side yards are created because they're creating a lot of subdivision with 7 + 1, 8 lots. So everything else is created because of the plot of subdivision. Now, if this were to be a single lot subdivision, they would be asking just for the front parking row variance. Just want to clarify that. And these exceptions are meant to promote the efficient and coordinated site plan. They got multiple tenant buildings, and in return, they're supposed to provide outstanding design, architecture, and landscaping, which I believe David is going to speak to that, for giving those exceptions and variances. They're also requesting 2 special use permits. One is for extended hours of operation, and they were supposed to clarify the hours, which they did. And in front of you, there should be a sheet noted corrections and revisions like this. And that has on page 2 the actual hours they're requesting. So the extended hours would be for lot 1, 9 a.m. to 1 a.m. on Sunday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. Friday through Saturday. For lot 5, Monday through Friday, they're requesting 4:30 a.m. to 9 p.m., Saturday 5:30 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Sunday 5:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. So those would require a special use permit under hours of operation. The second item they're requesting is outdoor seating for restaurants to be approved as part of the planned unit development. So the next item is sign regulations. Because this is a multi-tenant building and they would like to have signage inside the parking, inside the shopping center. And they're requesting sign variances and the logos to be, logo limit to be increased to 20 to 35%. There's a typo there, it's not 53%, it's 35%. And if you look at the table for variances, that looks like this on page 4 of the staff report. That shows all the sign variances that would be required. And again, I would like to clarify, because this is a multi-tenant building with multiple lots, if you look at column 2, I put a little asterisk there for 1C, 2B, 3B, 4B, 5B, 6B, and 7A buildings. They do not face a public street or a private circulation road, and that's the reason they need a sign variance, because if they're facing inside, inwards. And going beyond the sign variance, they also provided the landscape plan. The village does not have standards for front and corner yard landscaping, which we are, exploring to come up with in the next few months. So in the absence of those, we try to take a standard. If they provide 1 tree and 5 shrubs for each 1,500 square feet of frontage area, and the calculations shown in the staff report confirms they did. They also have landscaping on the north side of the private drive. Because as part of the phase 1 construction, we would like to see the whole development wrapped in landscaping in phase 1. So we requested them to have additional landscaping south side of the drive, which they agreed to do it. That is definitely an enhancement beyond what is normally required. And they do comply with the parking lot landscaping, the street right-of-way improvements. Those will be subject to permit review by our development service director, and that's all part of the subdivision code. Their fire truck turn plan has been reviewed by Northwest Homer Fire Protection District and was approved. And the next item is exterior construction standards, and I would like to have the architect elaborate more on that when we get to the presentation. Lighting plan has been, it went through 1 review already, and there's a list of items they need to provide before village board consideration, and those are listed in the staff memo, including street lighting fixture revisions, lighting controls, light fixture cuts, lighting pole cuts, and simply acknowledging they're fully aware of the prohibited outdoor lighting. We also reviewed the tree preservation plan for reforestation that has been approved by the village arborist, which is in the staff report. The stormwater calculations and traffic impact study have been submitted to Bill County as well as our village engineer. They're under review. And as part of the motion, you do have, if you look at the sheet, that's noted as revised. So that should you plan to approve it with conditions, I would request you to refer to this sheet that has the timings for extended hours. That would have the entire motion together in complete. So with that, I would request the architect to make the presentation.
Okay, thank you. A motion to open public hearing first, please.
I motion.
First by Commissioner Battle,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner McGarry. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Welcome.
Good evening. My name is David Manburton. I'm an architect, a principal architect with the firm of KMA Associates, Inc. Architects at 1121 Lakewood Road in Deerfield, Illinois. As staff indicated, we are seeking plan unit approval, including some special use items that were mentioned for lots 1 and 5. We are seeking these approvals on behalf of our client, Aetna Development Corporation, who has been a very active developer in the Chicagoland area for over 30 years, and we've been his #1 architect for most of those years. We've worked on some projects in the nearby communities of Orland Park, Tinley Park, Frankfurt, and Northwest Indiana, Highland, Indiana, Valparaiso, Maryville, and Crown Point. I wonder if is there a pointer? Is there a pointer?
We don't have pointers, but we can, let us know which plan you want to.
See this wall. Okay. Everyone can see the diagram that's up now. You have that in front of you? I guess you have it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's in the packet too, by the way.
Okay. So this project is 9.4 acres at the southwest corner of Bell and 143rd. Access to the site is through a right-in, right-out along 143rd and a full access entrance of Bell. The project is to develop, subdivide 8 lots, and the exhibit that you see before you on the screen is a phasing sequence of construction. So the first phase is that olive green color, I'll call it, and that's lots 3, 4, and 5, which will be constructed first. The blue lots, lot 1 and lot 2, the second phase, and the remainder will be the third phase with the possibility of some changes as things develop. Lot 1 is a national tenant restaurateur, fast food restaurant, and that's the one that we were seeking the extended hours, Saturday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 1 a.m. and Friday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. The second restaurant tenant is in the lot 5, and that's just north of the Bell Street entrance. And that is, their expanded hours are from 4:30 a.m. to 9. Oh, I'm sorry. 5:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. All the buildings will have a certain palette of color and materials, and I brought a sample of that with me. The sample before you shows a progression of the different colors. The base is a white aspen cream split base with a smooth aspen cream color, which is a white. The red is a Williamson blend. I think we had a typo in the report. It wasn't staff's fault, it was our fault. So that red color should be Williamson blend. And then at the top, or the sign band, is called Alpine, and that is that kind of gray color in contrast with the aspen cream. So the buildings that are initially built will all have that palette of colors. All the rooftop units will be screened by parapet walls. The parapet walls will hide the rooftop equipment. And we've introduced in the elevations on certain columns LED accent lighting to enhance the buildings. The trash enclosures will be built of the same material as the building, so there'll be a continuity in the all the masonry materials. If we can go back to the one of the site plans, please, that's fine. Staff's report talks about the importance or the need for some additional signs. These buildings are almost every one of them is approached from the rear because of the controlled access points. So if you're driving along 143rd or Bell and you turn into the site, you're going to turn into the site and be looking at the back or side of the building. So those secondary signs for, lots 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 specifically are facing the interior of the lot. That's why it's so important that we have those second signs. The two buildings that are landlocked in that beigey, or I don't know if it's beigey, it's pinky color. Since they don't have any exposure to either Bell or 143rd, there'll be an extra sign for those lots, one at the 143rd Street entrance and one at the Bell Street entrance. Let's see. Let's go back to an elevation, I think. Without real specifics, so that's the overview of the project. With me tonight is Tracy Richard, who's with Manhart Consulting, and he works with us in terms of developing the civil engineering for these projects and stormwater management. So I'm open to questions.
I do have a question. As I'm looking at this photo that we have on our computer screen right here, which is I'm assuming what you have up there, this is the front of the businesses?
Correct.
Okay. Do you have any pictures of the signage that would be on the side or the back?
I think
There are more slides, actually.
Can we see what that looks like too, please?
We got the north side view.
Sorry, you had a second to load.
So these are the other signage.
If you go to the three-dimensional pictures, well, for example, that one with the red,
Right.
the one with the glass, and the other one without the glass is the interior picture. Interior rendering.
This is what's going to be facing the street.
So the top left, that would be one of the sides,
Correct.
but it wouldn't be a side that would get traffic, so that's why there's no signage on it. Is that?
Yeah, I mean, the idea is that you have, that particular building has exposure to Bell, and then any traffic that's approaching it from the rear would would know that that's where they're.
Right. So what we're seeing in the top left is that there's really no traffic there, so.
There might be parking there.
Oh, right, so lack of signage there. Okay,
Yeah.
that's,
And that's the concept of the extra wall signs.
sure, makes sense.
The variances for the setbacks on the street sides that you're asking for, is that before the road's widened or after?
I'm assuming it's before. It's current. It's the current.
Current.
Property. Now.
It's got, because 143rd Street plans are already out there.
Sure. Could your engineer speak to that? I mean, they did submit to Will County DOT, so I don't know what the status is.
Tracy Richard, the civil engineer with Manhart Consulting. To my knowledge, the right-of-way that's, for instance, Bell, that's already taken along this property. So that's existing, okay?
Just as a point of,
The 143rd on that corner shouldn't change. It's the gas station across the street that's going away. You're correct.
just a point of clarification, we exceed the ordinance setbacks. It's all we're asking for relief for the parking setback. So you have, the buildings are set back pretty far.
Mm-hmm.
In your phases, though you can't write it in stone, what do you anticipate, how long between phases?
Well, I think staff, or I know the administration has probably heard from my client that he wants to start construction on the first phase this spring or this summer. So that first phase is going to go up right away, and we already, the client is talking seriously with that Lot 1 restaurant. So you know, that might end up being part of the first phase. The second, we call it the second phase, but it might happen quicker. This client is a very conservative guy. He doesn't speculate on empty ground. He wants to build. And so I can't imagine that he's gonna push this out too far.
Okay, but we don't have anything where we're going to write any time limits into anything.
No. The only stipulation would be for phase 2 and 3, they need to come back for site plan approvals.
BJ, would you clarify that? I'm not sure. There would have to be another approval for phase 2 and 3?
Not as a planning development for those individual lots. For example, in phase 2, you got lots 7, 6, and 7. Those building elevations are not finalized. It'll be based on the tenant, specific tenant. So we won't know necessarily the final elevation or signage or parking as shown here. This is just a placeholder, but it's not final configuration yet. So those are likely to change based on the future tenants. So they need to come back just for the site plan approval, not the not the entire PUD approval.
Okay,
So
that would be taken care of by staff.
No, you would come back to the plan commission and village board because there will be new buildings, new tenants, new materials. Parking may change, so we don't know that yet.
Let me ask staff a question. If the buildings, if the materials don't change, and the buildings wouldn't change,
So then we will look at it as a minor change to the PUD. So it depends the extent of changes.
okay.
When I first looked at this, there was a discussion about access to the gas station on one side or the other.
It's still ongoing. We think we know where the operator of the fueling station wants to connect, and I think our client is getting close with him to making a deal, so to speak. The thing that I just learned this week and passed it on to staff is that there might be some physical changes to that lot. Whether it's changes to the building or it's not clear to me. But I know that they've been talking for several weeks now.
And one more thing, BJ, I understood you right, that there's going to be like interim landscaping required in between phases?
So what they're doing is, they're just landscaping phase 1 right now. So that would cover the frontage on Bell and then 43rd, and just a portion of the private drive. So if you see the middle portion, lot 6 and 7, they're not going to landscape that area right now until those properties actually develop. So because they're leaving a hole in the middle, staff requested that the south side of the private drive be landscaped in phase 1. So there'll be complete raft landscaping all around the property in phase 1.
Okay, to clear up my confusion, we're looking at a proposal for all of the lots.
That's correct.
You mentioned that there could be a second approval coming back. What would specifically cause the need for it to come back to the plan commission? Would there be specific changes to what we're looking at?
Sure, that goes back to our code requirement. Anytime you change the parking, landscaping, signage more than 5%, it becomes a major amendment to the PUD, so they need to come back with the changes, if there are any major changes.
Okay, I understand.
I do have a question regarding the entrance on 143rd Street. Is that entrance directly adjacent to the entrance to the Jewel shopping area, or is it moved? It looks like there's...
The access to 143rd is already built, it's there, it won't be moved.
It is there, so coming out of Jewel's parking lot at that intersection where the stoplight is, you would not be able to come directly across into this shopping
No,
area?
it's a right in, right out also too, so in other words, even if you try, you have to illegally get around a pork chop to get there, in its current configuration.
And if you look at the aerial in the staff report, you can see that layout. In the staff report, there's the aerial map. So that shows the actual.
No, you can't even go across.
No, you can't. It'll be right in, right out.
Okay.
But on Bell, it'll be all access.
It'll be
And on
complete
Bell,
access.
it's straight across from the driveway to the blue area.
Was there a reason that the entrance was not adjacent to the Jewel? Is it just the way the property is laid out? I mean, it seems that you would have a lot more traffic that if they were able to easily enter from.
First of all, the existing road that was built was the previous development back in the day, okay? And we're utilizing that. As for the location, because it's a right in, right out, as a general rule, to oppose an existing access like that isn't as critical because, again, you're not crossing over from one to another. In other words, the restricted right in, right out was done probably with the reason that they didn't want, full or cross traffic occurring on 143rd.
All right, thank you.
Okay, we're still in a public hearing. I'd like to know if there are any members of the audience that will also wish to speak. Not hearing any, we can close the public hearing, then if I would get a motion for that and continue on.
I'll move the proposal.
First by Commissioner O'Donnell, second please.
I'll second.
By Commissioner Clement, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. We appreciate your comments and response to any further questions you might have. Kevin?
Is it safe, assuming looking through that the entrance off of Bell Road is going to be a traffic light, or is it going to just be?
The access to Bell Road will not be a signalized intersection. That we don't generate enough traffic to meet a warrant for a signalized intersection. The traffic study that's already been done sums that up, and so it will remain just a full access. The only improvements that would be made there will be a decel lane or a right turn lane. Other than that, and that will be coordinated with the ultimate future improvements that the county and IDOT have in the works already. So it's just it's an add-on to their project. It's anticipated we would proceed those improvements with our development. We make the, if you're familiar, that road right now does not tie in physically to Belt Road. There's a short distance in between. We would make that connection, think of it as temporary, and then when the full roadway widening occurs, we would work with the state and the county to have that right turn lane installed.
The other thing I noticed, talking about the exit onto Bell Road, is that the existing sidewalk going south from there?
Yeah, it is actually connected to the bike path. It is existing.
It's one of the things that I've noticed since the Chipotle and the Starbucks opened up, because that's located almost like an inlet. The amount of teenagers and middle schoolers that are on bikes and skateboards that are popping out in the jewel lot in front of people's cars. If people are on that bike lane, once they get to this new development, it would almost make things easier and more safe to extend that at least to the shell. Because if they're on their way to the jewel across the street, they're going to be wandering into all these cars. It doesn't look very pedestrian friendly right there. Just an observation I noticed.
I think it's a safety issue.
So are you envisioning extension to the north?
Going north, at least to the shell, so that the kids can get to the crosswalk to make it across the street.
And would consideration be given to along 143rd Street? Is there enough room to have a pedestrian walk along there as well? Because once these bikes end up at the Shell station, or the kids or whatever, then where did they go? They go right onto Bell Road, or they go on to 143rd Street. Why not extend along 143rd as well?
There's no connection right now.
No room.
There's,
Well, think about it, you can see it in person, not on the paper.
Yeah.
But I like the idea. That would be.
I mean,
I
an
like
extension of a pedestrian walkway on the exterior perimeters of this property, and following what Kevin had suggested, and I think it's a smart.
I mean, there's kids on bicycles and skateboards all over the jewel lot, and popping into our cars and everything else, so the safer we can make it for the kids, the better. Otherwise, they're gonna be inside the new development on the bikes and everything else.
so if you would like to make that recommendation, we could make that part of the right-of-way review for permitting, subject to how much space is available, so certainly you can make that recommendation.
Consideration, right?
Yeah.
It just makes sense, because if if a GameStop ends up going in there, it's gonna attract every kid in the world, so you're gonna have kids all over the place, so.
Okay, Brian, did you have any other additional comments, questions?
Brock, no. That's okay. That's all right.
Right.
No, the only comment I have is, boy, it's refreshing to see some nice retailing going into Homer, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Glen?
My questions were answered. I agree with Brock. This is going to be, especially the property that was supposed to be developed and all fell through and just sitting there.
Mm-hmm. Eileen, anything further?
No?
I would like to clarify one or two other things. First, already a party, maybe not under contract, but close to it for the restaurant on the building number 1 or lot 1. Is that correct?
That's my understanding.
Yeah.
He's not under contract, but it's being discussed.
Ready to go.
It's not ready to go, but it's a good thing from what I understand.
But it's specifically why you're asking for extended hours for that property, correct? And the extended hours for that one would be beyond our normal.
Yeah.
The request is to go 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock on one day?
Yeah, that's for Sunday through Thursday until 1 a.m. and Friday through Saturday till 2 a.m.
Do we have any other 2 a.m.
This is
operations in the village?
We would have to look at it. I mean, we do have some liquor license restaurants, they do go up to 1 a.m. I mean, that we can,
Do they? Okay.
Could you repeat that, please?
we do have some restaurants, I mean, I don't have the list in front of me, that have liquor licenses, I mean, they go up to 1 a.m.
Okay, entertain a motion then.
Is it this whole thing?
Actually, the one that's revised, please use that one with the hours.
There you go.
Just 7 or 7 that day?
On the updated,
Okay.
I'll make a motion, however, I have a question.
Great.
As far as the condition was what? Put a sidewalk along 143rd and a sidewalk along Bell Road? That was the condition?
I would say
It's not my
yeah.
understanding that it was a condition, it was more.
More of a consideration.
Yeah.
Something for consideration, so then we don't need to, okay, well, I'll make a motion. I make a motion to recommend approval of 1, a plat of subdivision, and 2, special use for a planned unit development and certain other special uses listed below in accordance with Chapter 220 zoning, Article 9, plan development of the Code of the Village of Homer Glen for certain real property located in the C2 local business district with pins of 16-05-206-001-002 and 003 at the southwest corner of 143rd Street and South Bell Road to construct a neighborhood shopping center. Special uses, 1, drive-through establishment on lots 1 and 5. 2, outdoor seating for restaurants on lot 1 and 5, subject to the following regulations. A, all seating areas must be enclosed by a fence or a wall at least 3 feet in height. B, where seating is permitted adjacent to public sidewalk, at least 5 feet in width of said sidewalk must remain unobstructed. 3, extended hours of operation as follows. For lot 1, Sunday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 1 a.m. Lot 2, Friday through Saturday, 9 a.m. through 2 a.m.
Lot 1 again.
Did I say lot 1? Oh, I'm sorry, lot 1.
It's okay.
Sorry. Yeah, lot 1, Friday through Saturday, 9 a.m. through 2 a.m. Lot 5, Monday through Friday, 4:30 a.m. through 9 p.m. Lot 5, Saturday, 5:30 a.m. through 9 p.m. Lot 5 on Sunday, 5:30 a.m. through 9 p.m. Other conditions, the applicant agreed to provide the final outdoor lighting plan prior to consideration by the village board. The applicant should show curb cut for cross access to the Circle K property on the site plan. The applicant should provide an update on the negotiation with the property owner of Circle K gas station for the cross access easement. Poplar Property Group, LLC, case number HG-1806-TS.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Brown. Please call the roll.
Commissioner McGarry,
Yes.
Commissioner Verdin, Commissioner Clement,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozer, Commissioner Backel,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Donnell.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So just as the applicant knows the village board meeting, we need to finalize the lighting plan. So most likely it'll be the March 28th meeting just to make sure the lighting plan is finalized.
Thank you very much.
Okay, do we have any plan commissioners that wish to report?
Okay.
Staff report?
Yes.
I assumed it was.
So the handout that's coming around kind of goes through the upcoming plan commission projects. For March 15th, we
Hold on
have.
just a moment.
Sure.
I'm in.
Sorry, Marty.
I'll wait.
That's one page.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Got it? Okay. So for the March 15th meeting, we have 3 items on the agenda. Founders Crossing, they purchased lot 1B, which is highlighted, so they would like to extend their PUD. There's no specific building, they just want to extend the PUD, add some additional parking. Number 2 is a brand new subdivision off of Hadley Road. It's called O'Malley subdivision, so that's the item number 2. Number 3, we have some zoning code amendments coming in front of you, which I shared at the last meeting, and they relate to the use and bulk tables, and also there'll be a discussion on adding off-track bedding as an accessory use to a restaurant as part of the use table. So those are some of the upcoming items, and there's also Will County Plan Commissioner training on April 7th. You have the meeting notice here. So if you wish to attend, let us know, we can register you. That's on April 7th, Saturday morning with breakfast. So let us know if you plan to attend that meeting. And beyond that, I'd like to get some feedback on the materials you're getting. I realize you're getting quite a bit of Plan Commission packets. We usually make them ready by Monday morning, although you get that electronically by Friday afternoon. I guess we're trying to see the hard copies. Would you, I guess we'd like to get your opinion on, do any of you want us to deliver the hard copies? Would you like to pick up at the front counter? We just want to make sure if you would like to see the hard copy, you have in front of you, so you have enough time to review them. So we just want to get some comments on that, what's the best way for you to review the Plan Commission materials before the meeting, other than the electronic copy?
Okay, well, a little bit of background. Quite some time before, the Plan Commission requested and staff agreed to have hard copies available no later than Tuesday morning, I believe.
Okay.
Prior to each meeting. And you're asking, it doesn't seem to be working, or?
Well, I guess, Don, you're probably the only one picking up the packet, and Brock, when he chairs the meeting, we want to make sure they're still valuable to you, as we make, we're making hard copies just to make sure they're, you need them. So we just want to make sure the current process is working. Do you want any changes? Everything is okay the way it is, so we just want to confirm.
It's been fine for me. I mean, I can get the emails and I can go through there, and then I've even come here prior and picked up hard copies when I needed them. So, and I typically do that if I'm gonna chair the meeting or if it's, you know, something that's complex. So those are always available.
All right, as long as you're happy.
So I see no reason to change.
All right, since our attorney is here, do you have any questions for him? While you have him, any legal procedural questions? Eric, I don't know if you want to clarify the quorum. I mean, is that something you need to check in? For example, when we come back with less than the full plan commission for a hearing, do you need a majority of the quorum present or the full plan commission here?
It's a quorum of those, or it's a majority of those present.
So tonight would have been 3 out of 5?
Correct.
Yeah, so like that. So that concludes my report.
Well, with that, if there's no other business, I'd like a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned.